How's it going today? I guess we're continuing our Zoom meetings, so I was hoping to see you guys, but I'll answer any questions that I can.
John Vinny with the Las Vegas Review-Journal. You guys made obviously a lot of changes on the defensive line, a lot of changes in the secondary. You've got a chance to see it on the field for this last month or so. How do you feel about those two position groups, as you close up shop here in minicamp and point toward training camp?
Feel pretty good. A lot of our practices were instruction-based. We'll see where we are when we lay the leather down at training camp, but Gus Bradley, Milas, Marinelli, our coaches have done a great job on defense, and I think we're better. I think we have a chance to be much better and a lot deeper, and it'll be more competitive.
Hey John, Levi Damian from USA Today. Can you fill us in on the situation with Divine Diablo? If there's any concern why he's out here?
He's out right now. We are very hopeful that he'll be ready to go for training camp.
John, Ed Graney from the Review-Journal. You to stay on the Gus Bradley theme as well as you know him, has anything surprised you since he came aboard, the relationship with the players? How do you think that's gone in terms of how he's communicating with them and them to him?
It's gone well. I think it's off to a great start. That's one of his strengths. He's a people person. He's a great communicator, and he's also got a staff that's been with him for a long time. I think that's the biggest thing that he has going for him. A lot of coordinators get hired, and they have to implement their defense with a lot of coaches they've never worked with. But Richard Smith's a great linebacker coach. Ron Milas is a great secondary coach, and Marinelli just got Lifelong Achievement Award for the defensive line coach. So we've got a great defensive staff, and Gus is a great communicator. So far, so good.
Hey, John, this is Vic. I wanted to follow up. So you think this is your best roster so far? You're in year 4?
Well, I'll have to see when we get to camp. Obviously, we like it on paper. We think we've made some changes that are, in some people's eyes, questionable, but we're younger. I think we're faster. I think we do have more depth, and it's hard to update that question right now without seeing everything in pads at full speed.
John, you guys brought in Casey Hayward, a veteran cornerback. Obviously, you've invested a first-round pick, a second-round pick at cornerback these last couple of years. How do you see that playing out with Casey Hayward's presence and what that might mean for a Damon Arnett or even a Trayvon Mullen?
Yeah, we've put a lot of picks into our secondary. If you count Trayvon Merring and Tyree Gillespie and, obviously Carl Joseph and John Abram, we got a lot of high picks in that secondary. They're young. Hayward is going to be a veteran that brings us some seasoning and some day-to-day consistency. And he's going to provide a lot of competition, I promise you that. He's not here to give away his job. So we like the makeup of our secondary. I like the guy coaching them. I think this guy's a special coach, and the best guys are going to play. I don't care if it's Nate Hobbs or Amik Robinson. I don't care what round they came in. We're going to play the best 4 or 5 guys, and the players will decide that.
John, with the first-round pick this year, you guys decided to take a guy at right tackle to kind of push him around. What's been your first initial thoughts that have stuck out to you the most about Alex Leatherwood?
Well, he's very smart, very athletic. He's long. He's a talented player, and that's why we took him. We had him ranked high on our board, and we're glad he fell to us. We're glad he was there for us. Smart guy, very athletic, and he has a lot of experience. So we're counting on him being our starting right tackle.
John, I want to ask you your impressions of your some new faces at receiver, John Brown, Willie Snead, and Dylan Stoner.
Yeah, we've got competition there. You mentioned some of the guys. John Brown's a good player. A couple of years ago he had over 1,000 yards. He has great speed. He's learning 3 positions right now, much like Nelly did last year at this time. I think he's going to give us some pop. He can really run, get out of routes, and he can run a wide array of patterns. The other guys you mentioned, Willie Snead has come in here. He's a real pro. Strong hands, very precise route runner, tough as hell. And he's going to compete with Renfro in the slot. Dylan Stoner's done well. This DJ Turner, the punt returner from Pitt, very interesting. He's quick, he's smart, and Zay Jones came back ready to go. And our 2 picks from last year are the guys that I've really been focusing on. Edwards looks good, and Ruggs looks much better than he did this time last year.
John, 2 questions specifically about Henry Ruggs. I know that there's some things that you guys asked him to work on during this offseason. How has that come back? And then also where you guys are on your vaccination numbers and how that is working out.
Well, I'm not at liberty to give any statistics on our vaccinations. I can speak for myself and the coaches. We've all had our vaccinations, and I think our players have bought in. I think we're as good as anybody in the league or better. We hope to have every man vaccinated, and most importantly, every man as safe as possible when the season starts. And then in terms of Ruggs, Ruggs didn't have an off-season program last year like a lot of these rookies, and he got hurt in the first game against Carolina, and got the coronavirus last year, missed some more time. But he's a big reason why Darren Waller had a big year, because of the threat of Ruggs. And we don't want to just have Ruggs be a threat. We like him to be on the receiving end of a lot of those threats. So we're trying to get him more and more involved in the pass offense, and so far so good.
John, this is Hondo Carpenter from Sports Illustrated. I know that coaches are traditionally glass half empty type of people, but what are you most happy with this team, sir?
I like the guys. I think we have guys that like each other, that love football, that like the preparation. A lot of these guys play for nothing. They would come out here and keep practicing if I didn't blow the whistle. So we don't have any energy vampires. We got guys that like the game, that are going to compete, and we have some talent. We have some young, exciting talent, and that's what excites me the most.
Hey, John, Paul Gutierrez here from ESPN. How different, how good has it felt to actually have an off-season program where you can get your hands physically on these guys this off-season? And when you do break tomorrow, what's that message going to be for these guys for the next 6 weeks?
Well, it feels good. Preparation is a big part of this game. You got to spend time together, I think. But we're fortunate that we had almost 100% turnout, and we got better each day. We did a lot of strategic things to focus on every day, and we got better. So I'm very happy with that. And the closing message is going to be personal. We don't talk about the things we say in team meetings, but the expectations are rising now. We proved that we can compete in the AFC West. We proved we can win on the road, and now we've got to prove we can win at a much higher level. And we got a great schedule. We got a very difficult schedule to open the season. So be smart with your time and continue to train like a champion.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Or morning. Jeez, I guess it's morning.
Coach, this is Hondo Carpenter from Sports Illustrated. You are not known as a guy that's going to scream and cuss everybody out. You're a teacher. It's what you do. Are you impressed with your young players, not just rookies, but young players in their attentiveness? Seemed like they were really hanging on every word today.
Yeah, you know what? They've been great now. I think that, as you see with our coaching staff, we've got different personalities now. We've got 2 guys that have coached for over 40 years, and Richard Smith and Rod Marinelli. We got young staff. So I think, to your point, I think it's important that we all have different personalities, because everybody needs somebody and someone where the players can go to and respond to. But as far as picking up the information, been very good. I mean, I give a credit to the players now. They got great attention. They really want to understand it, and they really want to be great at what they do. And it's our job to kind of look at them and find out their skill set and put them in the best position.
Gus, Vinny Boston here with the Review Journal. You bring in Yannick Ngakoue, add him, and make some other changes along the defensive line. I'm interested in, especially on that edge, how that relates to Max Crosby and his role. And he played over 900 snaps last year. Can you see maybe some of those snaps being reduced in order to raise the efficiency?
Right. I would say this, that, our philosophy is you can never have enough rushers. I think that's been going back. I mean, probably a lot of teams believe that. But I think we want to make sure we keep guys fresh. And Max is a very good player, and he's come in great shape now. I like the way he looks, the way he's practicing. He's leaned up. He's fast. and been very impressed with him. So we've got a number of guys like that. We're hoping that we can send 2 lines at people, not just one group, that we can stay fresh with the players. So those edge guys are very important to us, and and the inside guys creating that push.
Coach Adam Hill, Las Vegas Review Journal. When you took this job, how close did you think the defense was? How much work did you think there was to do?
Well, I think it was tough because of some of the things going through last year with COVID, and I've got a lot of respect for Paul and what he does defensively. We had great conversations. So really look at this team as, all right, here's where they're at, and it's our job to build on what was already taking place. And, so I think there's some good young talent. We're very impressed with them. I think that as far as the overall group, obviously we drafted some players, on the defensive side, so creating more depth and create more competition within. But, like I said, I've been pretty impressed with their skill set and how they pick things up.
Your coach has Ed Graney from the Review Journal. On a side of a ball that has consistently been told it needs to improve, how do you go about the mindset of that group to convince it can be good?
Well, I think, when good things happen, right? They're a group that first of all, we got to trust each other. And I think that trust is just understanding where everybody's going to be and that they're on the same page. A lot of explosive plays come through busts on defense, and we got to try to eliminate as many of those busts as possible, and it comes through great communication. So that part of it we're building. When you have success, learning how to handle success, and it's really play after play coming out with it. So it's really a race to maturity with our whole group. We've got some strong personalities on it, which I love, great spirited guys, and you got some experience with guys like Casey Hayward, Jonathan Hankins, that I think is so important to a young group like this.
Hey, Coach, Case from Las Vegas Sun. Even with, wanting to stay fresh, and like you said, you can never have enough edge rushers, it looks like you guys are going to have a ton of competition up front going into training camp, both interior and with edge rushers. What are some of the things you're looking for to for guys to differentiate themselves in playing bigger shares?
Well, I think, we look at multiple things, that consistency, to do things over and over again. And, we always talk to the players, it's not the call, the players bring the calls to life. And so when we look at the front, how many of them are bringing the call to life more times than not? And, we just got to have that rush up front, and it's so critical to any team. And, I think as we continue to evaluate these guys, the consistency and how they play the run and the pass, a fourth quarter rush, a 2-minute rush is so important, especially what happened from last year, right? And I think that's where the depth, and we've got to have, 2 groups that we really can count on to keep our guys fresh, so when those situations occur, we take advantage of them.
Hey guys, this is Vic. I'm sure you watched the film last year. How do you get more out of Corey Littleton than they got last year?
Well, I think Corey, I've been impressed with him, his speed. He's a very skilled linebacker. One of the things he's, his physical nature, that's the things we're looking at right now and challenging him on. But he has it in him. But matchups, I think what's great about Corey is the matchups he allows us to have. He's really a skilled cover guy. What I've seen so far. Now, this has been a lot of walkthrough. When the bullets fly and we go full speed, I think we'll have a better sense of where everybody's at. But thus far, and I think, Vic, the other thing that we've seen on him is he's really a good edge setter. I think he has that ability maybe in base to be more of an outside linebacker for us too. So until we get the pads on and see what he can do, we're trying to still learn some of these guys and their skill set. But I'll be able to tell you more once we get in the training camp.
Hey, Coach, Heidi Fang, Las Vegas Review Journal. What's it been like for you adjusting to life in Las Vegas, especially with the temperatures climbing close to 120 during this mini camp?
Right. You know what? My son and I were out this weekend. I said, I don't know. I think I'm starting to get used to it, but I don't know if you ever get used to it. Out in the practice field, you feel a little bit of it, but it's great. I think the way Coach Gruden has set this up, our practices. We were commenting on that the other day. Here we are in a meeting. We're watching the tape, and it's 9:45 in the morning. That doesn't happen very often. So I think that, to best utilize it, to keep the guys fresh, to practice early in the morning like we're doing. I think you have to get used to it. And we know come to, in training camp, it's a way of life for us. But I don't know. I think it's something the players, talking to Casey Hayward, he's adjusted pretty well to it. So I think the way they've structured it, where we're out there for an hour and 10 minutes or so, has been very important for our guys as well.
Yes, you guys have been out on the field for about a month now. Any kind of clarity at that slot cornerback position and the two safety positions?
Yeah, I think right now there's a lot that we put on that plate. So at the nickel spot, you're seeing a lot of guys rotate in there. But, guys like Lawson has really jumped out. I think he's a guy that has picked up very well on it. Amik, we got playing there. He's doing a nice job on the inside. The guy that's probably really jumped out at us is Hobbs, the kid from Illinois. Very impressed with him. I think he's come in with a real good knowledge of the position, so his learning curve is really jumped up. So there's a couple guys right there that we're looking at. The safety position, at free safety, both Gillespie and Trey, both those guys are, until we get the bullets flying, and walk through, they're fighting that boredom back there of just playing in our defense where, doing the same thing over and over again. But I like their mindset, some of the things in individual that we're seeing. But, we're holding off judgment on those two guys until we get more in the pads.
Hey, Gus, Paul Gutierrez here from ESPN, dovetailing on the secondary a little bit. As an architect of the Legion of Boom, I don't know if you can see any similarity or not, but how malleable, how fun is it to have such a young secondary that you can kind of craft and create things that you go
right
along?
You know what? It's similar, that youth, and that the questions, and you're putting a system in for the first time, and watching guys kind of you'll do the techniques, but within their own personality. And that's what we're hoping. Right now, we're still in that learning phase. Is it a buzz technique? Is it a hook technique? They're learning that terminology. But I can see definitely as we get into minicamp now, guys are starting to take on personalities with the defense. So, to each their own. I'm sure they'll. That's why I say I think we're all looking forward to training camp. We've got almost 2,000 reps, I think, through these walkthroughs and splitting up groups, and that's invaluable. But there's nothing like practice when you're going full speed, and we'll see how some of these young guys come along.
Gus, Willie Ramirez with the Associated Press. Last year, when Malik Collins was brought in, John used the phrase "key to the defense." When you bring in guys like Yannick and Casey, how important is it maybe not to put that pressure going into training camp on just one guy? Using a phrase like that, you used the word trust earlier among the group, and just making sure, knowing that everybody's important.
Yeah, everybody is. I mean, that's what I said. Just think you get two D-line groups that can really rush, and they're all playing. I mean, that is just great for morale, first of all. Everybody knows, we're going to be playing 30, 35 plays. Everybody's getting in there at critical times. I think I've learned that through the years that is so critical, especially to that group up front. So, it's more of a, obviously we know guys, and we'd like to build it to where, hey, this is a critical time. Who's in the game? Well, whoever's hot. And whoever's fresh. And if we can get to that mentality where it's by numbers, I think that's very, very important. But, you got guys that are very skilled, guys like Yannick, Max Crosby. Those guys have proven that they're very, very good rushers in this league. And so, to keep them fresh in critical times, have them at that, at our services would be great.
Last one for Coach Bradley.
Coach, obviously the other side of the ball has something to do with this, but is there something you can do beyond drills or film to create more turnovers, to get more takeaways than this defense has had? Is there anything to do, or is it just giving them the drills and hoping the game it works?
Well, I think when a defense really plays fast, take for example the first week or so when we put the defense in, guys were allowed to kind of go for punches, try to simulate at least going for the ball. But you didn't see very many opportunities, and you could tell that guys were really thinking about what they have to do, how they're going to do it, and the last thing on their mind was to go for the ball. That has changed a little bit. we're starting to see now guys going after the ball more, and I think it shows us as coaches really a sense that, hey, they're starting to play faster. They're starting to understand what they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to do it, so their mindset is now also about let's go after the ball and not miss any opportunities. So the ability to create more takeaways, it really starts with the mindset to go after the ball. And, I think when you see a team doing it, they're playing pretty fast. And that's our objective, fast, physical, and ball out. That's what we're preaching to our guys. Fast, physical, ball out, over and over, every play, every call that is designed to get the ball out. And, to keep preaching that to them.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, good. Thanks for your time, man. Appreciate it.
Go ahead, Levi Damien.
Hi, I'm Levi Damon, USA Today. Recently, you put on Instagram, I think it was, that you were at 258 pounds. I just wanted to ask how that compares to what you weighed last season. Also, were you given a target weight by the Raiders? And if you were, what reason were you given for that target weight?
I was never given a target weight, but at the end of the day, I just collected all my thoughts and everything that I went through as far as Minnesota and Baltimore, and I just wanted to critique myself and see where I could be a better player at it. And I feel like putting more muscle on and still keeping that lean mass will help me be effective. And I'm definitely not the same player that was on those two teams. So that's the main reason why I did. I was just trying to get better, man. The more weight you have, and the more you can carry it, I feel like the more effective you can be at my position.
Yannick, Levi Edwards from Raiders.com. Of course, he was your head coach and now your defensive coordinator. But of course, your rookie year, you had Gus Bradley as your coach and now as your defensive coordinator. What would you say is the biggest differences you noticed just from your rookie year as to now in your relationship with him, just as a coach, as a person? Kind of what have you noticed just change?
Oh, the thing that's really crazy to me is he's the same guy. If not, he has way more energy. He always was a high energy guy. A guy that's personable, a great coach, and unfortunately in Jacksonville we didn't do what we were supposed to do to keep him there. But over here, man, he's just putting us in great positions to go make plays and allowing us to be free. That's a guy that loves the game. He's bringing passion every day, no matter what's going on in his life. He's gonna always have a smile on his face.
Hey, it's Case from Las Vegas Sun. Max Crosby said he already feels like he's built quite the rapport with you. What's your relationship with Max like, and what do you think of his game? What do you think you guys really complement each other and create a duo?
I think that Max and myself are the best duo that's going to come hit the scene, and I'm already putting that out there. And I feel like the NFL has, they kind of shot away from that, and that's cool. But Max is a hard worker. He's a guy that he's putting in the work. Literally, I'm lifting weights right now, and Max is in there doing things to get better. So it's the dedication and commitment, and I can play all day with a guy like that.
Willie Ramirez with the Associated Press. Just a minute ago, Gus talked a lot about establishing trust amongst the whole unit and making sure that everybody is on the same page and trusting within one another, from coach staff down to the unit. You just talk about how that's carried over, what you're familiar with from him, and how you sort of seen that easily blend into this unit since you've gotten here.
Absolutely. I think it started, at the start of OTAs all the way to now. And when he means building trust, he means it's that guy to the left of you giving all his effort. It's the guy to the right of you giving all his effort. When you see that on tape and you see guys going 100% for each other, that builds trust right there. You knowing that, all right, I might have to hammer this block, but I messed up. I know my nose tackle's coming right back around and come help me make the play. It's just all about effort-based defense. That's what we preach, and that's what I love. I love guys that run to the ball. Coach Bradley loves guys that run to the ball, and that all that builds trust.
Yeah, this is Vic from The Athletic. I'm wondering, what does Quentin Jefferson bring to the team, and how cool is it to have an old college teammate as your teammate now?
Oh, man, that's like a brother to me. We have the same exact birthday, got drafted with each other, and he's going to bring a lot of tenacity to this defense. He's slept on. He's under the radar, you know what I mean? So I feel like he's going to really show a lot of flashes. He looks way different from when we both were playing in college together. His body's changed tremendously. I'm excited to see what he's about to do.
Yannick, out of the Las Vegas Review Journal, so much has been made of this team's kind of struggle to get pass rush generated the last couple of years. How much pressure do you feel individually to kind of be the guy that helps turn that around?
I just want to be the motor to this defense, the motor to the defensive line. Max and myself, we're both identifying ourselves as the guys that need to put this team on our back as far as the defensive side of the ball. And guys will follow as it goes. We just have to set that standard. And from here on out, that's what's going to happen. The other years don't matter anymore. It's a whole new era.
Ed Graney from the Review Journal. How much is it on players? How much is it on Bradley and the staff to build a mindset that this can be a good defense? It doesn't have to listen to all about what's happened in the past. Is that on you guys and on the coaches, or do you have to show up on the first Sunday and prove it? Again,
like I said, it begins in camp. We just got done with our mini camp. We have one more day. Actually, we just got done with our practice. So when we report back, it's a certain standard we need to set from the day we touch that field until the day camp is over with. And until we set that standard within ourselves, we can't do it on the field versus other teams. So when we build that trust and we get the camaraderie going as far as camp, I feel like a lot of great things will happen.
Hey, Yannick, Paul Gutierrez here from ESPN. A lot of talk about you and Max Crosby. There's also another guy on that defensive line that was a number 4 overall draft pick. What have you seen? I know it's only been a couple days that you've been on the field with him, but what have you seen out of Clee?
Out of Clee, I see a guy that's going to be super, super effective. I love that he can play a 5 technique. He can also play a 3 technique. And like I said, those are guys I want to push. Those are guys I want to see be great. He has all the intangibles and abilities to be a special player, and he needs to show that this year, and he will.
You all set, Jan. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.